Hey, and welcome back to my channel. I am sitting in my office because I was looking at a few plants, watering them and such. I just wanted to take a time and show a few plants that are just barely hanging on. Can you see them in this video? Right there. Get a little preview of what's sitting over here. Just a few plants that I'm going to label this are hanging on. Okay, plants that I have hung on to, they're hanging on for dear life. And at this point, I just don't know what I'm to do with them. I just don't know. Cat's going to try to jump up it here. Okay, anyways, that are just hanging on. So I thought that I would share them, share the plant type, what's going on with them maybe, or my initial thoughts about what's going on with them. So if you are new to this channel, this is a channel where I talk about my house plants and do different DIYs. So if that does interest you, take a minute, subscribe. That would be awesome. If you are a recurring viewer, thank you so much for coming back and watching another chaotic, unorganized video. So yeah, I have a few plants that are hanging around that are just hanging around. Have no use for them, don't know what to do with them, but I have just been holding out hope that maybe they will come back to life and bring something to the table. But currently they're not bringing anything to the table. And here are a few of them. We're going to start off first and foremost with a plant that I actually like, okay? Common, not liked plant, but I like, and I have tried to hold on to it. And it is this, this is a Tenanthia magris, Tenanthia magris. It is very easy to care for, to be fairly honest with you, as a calathea. However, it just is constantly killing off its leaves, which is a normal process of plants. It's very common to lose the bottom leaves. But this guy, can you hear it? It just shakes of dead leaves. Like, it's just crispy and will not hold on. And so it's very bare, but there are new growth shoots coming out almost daily, for sure weekly, because look at this. Oh, too many dead leaves. Way too many dead leaves. This right here that my finger's touching. Wait, hold on, where is it? Oh, here it is. Oh, it's on the side of the pot. Oh man, how can you tell? Okay, there you can see it. Right there. That's a new growth point, and so it's awesome. It's constantly growing, but constantly killing off its leaves. So I've been holding out hope that maybe it will come back and it will be a great little plant. It has very beautiful veining on the leaves. Look at that foliage. So beautiful and pretty. And then the undersides are actually a maroon color. Look at that. This is why people love calatheas, but they don't love the care of them, because they do typically like filtered water. They're very sensitive, and I don't give it filtered water or anything. I just give it the good old tap water. So that could be a number one problem of this plant, but I'm not going to give it that, because I have another of a Calathea burley marks, like here. You can't see it in this video. Very similar patterns, green instead of this lime gray green, blue, green gray. I don't know, but totally different how they act. And so this guy I've just been holding out hope on. This sad little guy. What do I do? This side actually looks pretty good. This side looks sad. It does sit up here in this window, and it gets northeast facing light. So sunrise, then nothing else. These are typically a lower light loving plant, meaning they do not like the high light situation. They are an undergrowth plant, if you want to call them. And they are a bush plant, so you cannot propagate Calathea, specifically Calathea, Tenanthia. Wow, sorry. You have to split those if you want to get a new plant. So you could split them here. See this little shoot, this little fun guy right here, how it grows like a fan, very similar to a birds of paradise. You can take that out, plant it up, and it will produce a new plant. You cannot cut these and propagate the leaves like you can a Maranta, which is part of the Marantaceae family, which is part of the Calathea family, but you can't do that. So these are a little hard, and it tells by the signs. I just can't get over that sound. it's just all dead leaves. So yes, okay, this one is my number one, holding out hope for it, okay? Second one, and it looks almost just as bad. This is a philodendron soderoy. I know I've shared this on my channel before. I purchased this probably 2 years now. Yeah, 2 years ago. And it was doing fairly well, but it was a little difficult. It was giving me brandy philodendron vibes, which I do not like the brandy philodendron. They are extremely difficult to take care of unless you have it in a high humidity loving situation. It is not going to like anything that you give it. Similar case. This looks like an ivy of some sort. However, it is a philodendron soderoy. I'll show you an up close of it. I have been holding out hope for this guy for 2 years. It lived in my greenhouse shelving unit, and then I took that down, and it has been living outside under my Barina grow lights, which are all where this light's coming from, and just in my little cubby unit. But this is what we've got going. I mean, is it worth anything? I don't know. But I know that I can't find this plant. I have not found it, at least in my area, since I have gotten this. And I just don't want to let go of it, because what if it does something? Like, what if it starts doing something? That's my whole thing. It's like, what if it does? What if it actually does grow? Like, what if? Well, what if is kind of out the window with this guy. But I have chopped this all the way back before, and it's grown out. This is what it's grown to. So very interesting plant. I really truly don't know what to do with it. It has a ton of growth on it, but it's just all very, very small and minuscule, like tiniest thing ever. Similar again to the brandy. The brandy will start doing this if it's not given the right love, like, living situation. Assuming this is not getting the right living situation, but then again, it was in a greenhouse cubby unit with fans and humidity, and it still did this. So I'm not sure what this needs. Like, what do you want? Because that leaf just fell off, and I don't really know what to do with it. I could put it on a moss pole, but is it going to be worth that? Like, I just don't know, but I'm holding out hope. Holding out hope, number 2, philodendron soderoy. I mean, I feel like people wouldn't believe me that this is a philodendron soderoy, but it is a philodendron soderoy. It is indeed. Now, the next plant that I'm holding out hope for is this variegated string of hearts. Again, this little guy has been here for a year now, has a huge tuber. Look at this thing. Hold on. Look at this. This right here is a tuber. It's gotten massive. So you would think that the larger the tuber, the happier the plant. Unfortunately, that's not the case. This is what it is. I did have a full pot of it, and then I repotted it, and then it did this. So I purchased a new one right here. I purchased a full pot a month ago, 2 months ago. And it's beautiful. We'll see if it lasts. I'm not going to repot it. This typically sits or has sat under Barina grow lights for its entirety of owning it. This guy, again, northeast facing window, seems to do well for the past 2 months. We'll see. I water it actually when it's dry, which could be a problem because I have heard that you should probably not do that. So it could be due to my watering. And yeah, I'm holding out hope. Every time I pick this up to go throw it away, like this video, just toss it. You've got a whole new one. Just toss it. I think, wow, like it could come back because it does have very pretty variegation on this one stem. So yeah, holding out hope on that. Not 100% sure what to do with it. So it sits up here. Waste space. Okay, another holding out hope for. This is so sad. This philodendron Florida beauty. Yeah, that's all Florida beauty. Take in all its beauty. This is the dead stick, the leaf. So I got this cutting in Florida and it was just a cutting. It was not rooted. And I thought, oh, well, that'll be easy to get rooted and propagate. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. I should have known because I have had the Florida Ghost and the Florida Green, both of which are extremely difficult, or were extremely difficult because I do not have them anymore, to propagate. And so it has been sitting in this for almost a year now, and this is as far as it's gotten. Every single original leaf has died. There is not one of them left. Technically, this is the last original leaf left. Every other one of them has died. Now, this does have a new growth point, so that's cool. This one has a new growth point, but all that beautiful variegation is gone. Like, it's not there. I don't know if it's going to come back ever. I don't think that this is a stable variegation plant, so it's very possible that this is just going to revert back to a Florida Green, which is the original, plant. And I just keep holding out hope that somehow this will grow into a plant that I can enjoy, but I don't think that it will at this rate. However, what is giving me some hope in this last month is I had my philodendron Yopii in this same container, and it was doing just as terrible. However, I decided, okay, I really want to try to see if I can grow this plant. I took it out, I potted it up into a very small 2-inch pot, and it has taken off. It's done extremely well. I have this in my kitchen in a northeast facing window, and so it's actually grown and has produced a new leaf. So that's really exciting. So I'm thinking I need to pop this into soil and get it growing, and then maybe it can start producing leaves like this Yopii right here, because that's the only reason that these are still here, is the fact that this took off and started growing. So I need to put that on my to-do list. Another plant that I'm holding out hope for is an Anthurium kingvichii. So the only reason that I'm holding out hope is because this beautiful new leaf. All the other leaves started dying off. I guess these don't look horrible, but all of a sudden it just fell. And I don't know, I had a spider mite issue on a lot of my Anthurium, and I'm wondering if this didn't have it too. So I did spray it down, and then this guy came out, a beautiful leaf. But it's not, I don't know what's going on with it. And so it's one of those plants where I just purchased this because it was cheap. It's pretty much it. The only reason it was interesting and cheap, and it was an Anthurium, so I thought, why not? And so it's one of those plants where I'm not upset if it does die or I get rid of it. But I am holding out hope for it based on this beautiful, like truly beautiful new leaf. Look at that. So pretty. It hasn't hardened off yet. It's still very new, and you can tell by the color because it gets this very green. Look at that. So beautiful. So holding out hope, kingvichii, Anthurium. Another Anthurium that I'm holding out hope for, it's like all my Anthuriums all of a sudden just went down. The only one that's doing super well is my Pallidiflorum, which I posted a video about a couple weeks ago because it's the only plant, or it's the only Anthurium in my collection. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that's doing well and growing and being consistent with itself. The other one's just not doing so hot. But the other Anthurium that I'm holding out hope for is this Forgetii. I am really kind of disappointed in this guy because I need to water it. But it also got spider mites and started dying. And honestly, it could have been a fungal infection as well. I'm debating because it doesn't look quite like spider mites, but then some of the leaves do, like this one here. Like that looks like a spider mite because it's in specific spots. But then the other foliage was yellowing at the bottom and turning just consistently yellow, if that makes sense, and then black. So I'm like, maybe that was a fungal issue. I'm not really sure. I chopped it all the way back. These are the leaves that are left. And there is a new growth point. Actually, yeah, there's one new growth point on this down at the bottom, which is exciting. So I'm just holding out hope for these 4 leaves. these 4 tiny leaves. They were getting really large and really beautiful. I've had this in a self-watering planter. I've moved this everywhere in my home, honestly. It did sit in a southwest facing window. It has sat under my Barina grow lights and now sits under, on the top of my shelving unit under Sansi grow lights. So it's a pretty versatile plant, and it does not mind, or didn't mind, the lack of humidity and just focus. I kept it in this DIY self-watering planter for the last, I don't know, probably 6 months, and it seemed to be doing pretty well. Maybe that's also what killed it off, is too much water. I'm not really sure. They do like to dry out and don't like to be overwatered, yet my Queen Anthurium, which is another one of my plants that I'm just holding out hope for, it is opposite. It likes to stay moist and does not like to dry out. And so they are different. Like Anthurium clarinivrum, it also had spider mites and it's now bouncing back. So glad at that. But it also dries all the way out. Doesn't like to be overwatered. If you overwater that guy, it will start doing poorly. So this one I'm still not sure about, but it's a really cool Anthurium, and I'm holding out hope because it has dark velvet leaves and it's really pretty and a unique plant to have in your collection. Now, the last one that I'm holding out hope for is, of course, my Queen Anthurium. My original one, I should say. Whew. Okay, so cat has ripped it, child has ripped it, put it up here so that nobody touches it, doesn't like to be moved. It is an intense grower. Like, the roots are superb. They're excellent. I repotted it into this recently, and it's done extremely well on that front. It's just holding on to the leaves that is very difficult. I think I need to put some sphagnum moss around this because, again, it does not like to dry all the way out. The inconsistent watering will lead to your leaves looking like this. Those are like, it's just a sign of distress and lack of consistent watering, is what I have found on the internet. And so that would genuinely explain it. I'm not, saying anything against that, but I do love this plant. I really want it to grow well, and it just is very hard for me to grow. It does have a new growth point coming in, so it will always push out one leaf, kill off the old leaf. That's been the cycle. So I'm not sure how to stop that cycle, but I do know that this is one of the most difficult anthuriums to care for, to grow inside a home setting. I truly have not seen anyone other than Russo Lighting successfully grow these. So they've got something going on that I need to learn, because I'm not quite sure, but they are truly the only ones that I have seen grow this plant to its beautiful natural state. Now, they do give it a lot of light and attention and fertilizer, humidity, and all that stuff. They are plant experts. So I just need to probably be better about that. I'm a lackadaisical, that makes sense, plant person, versus they're probably a very maintenance heavy plant person. But I did buy a backup for this plant, and it's doing pretty well, I would say. Oh, it's got water in it. I did put it in the self-watering planter because, again, I actually had this in a self-watering planter, did really well. Put it in a terracotta one, didn't do so well. So if you do have a Queen Anthurium, I would absolutely encourage you to get a self-watering planter. This does have, oh, Brooke, I'm going to be so upset. I just bent the new growth point. So this does have a new growth point. I'm just going to leave it. Just not going to touch it. And this is the newest leaf that it's pushed out in my care. These are the 2 oldest leaves. Now, see, this one does have, a bit of issues, but it is minimal compared to this guy right here. And the new leaves, these were the older leaves, again, that came with the plant, and they were already a little bit beat up. So this one, though, has stayed in excellent condition in the couple months that I've had it. I can't remember when I got this. I think was it back last February? Wow, I've had it for a year then, over a year. And this leaf unfurled very shortly after and has held since then. So I think that's pretty good. Again, self-watering planter, key for these guys. It will save the plant. Those were my plants that I have that I'm just holding out hope for. None of them look great. They're not really showing any signs of progress, but I still hold on. and look to them and hope that maybe one day they will grow and be beautiful like my other plants are. But this one, I've hesitated to throwing this one away and this one away and my string of hearts. But again, I'm holding out hope that maybe something will come of these. I don't know if I should chop this guy all the way back and just restart it, or just let it keep going and see what happens. But that was that. Let me know in the comments if you have any plants that look like this and which ones you're holding on to hope for in your collection. Thank you so much again for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and we will see you next time.